Stefan tenses up as Rafe probes Harris and doubts begin to surface over Everett's account. Everett tells Stephanie that he wishes he knew what was wrong with him after Kayla checks him out at the hospital. Stephanie is confident her mother will find a solution. Kayla asks Marlena to take up his cause, and she enters the room. According to her, he had a catastrophic brain damage on his CAT scan. Wendy begins to breathe heavily and to pace in the tank by the rail tracks. Tripp calms her down till she stops having panic attacks. Harris opens his eyes to Rafe in his hospital room. Kayla comes in and gives Harris some direction. She informs him that following his shooting, he was in a coma. Ava joyfully gives a tense Stefan a hug in the lobby after learning the good news about Harris. Stefan disagrees with her assertion that this is the answer to their prayers. Stefan responds that he's only concerned about Clyde's response when Ava asks about his response. "Clyde, screw you!" Ava shouts. Stefan tries to walk away, but Rafe appears and says that nobody ever leaves. Stephanie assists Everett in telling Marlena everything that transpired with Jada in his hospital room. Even though his fingerprints matched those of Robert Stein, he insisted he had no idea who that person was. Marlena speculates that Everett may have had PTSD, which would account for his memory loss after learning about his vehicle accident. It's possible that his brain just disabled his memories of being Robert. Everett sheds tears as he questions whether he could truly be the person who treated his wife so horribly. Tripp questions Wendy about her early years in an attempt to kill time in the tank. She clarifies that prior to her family moving to India for her father's business, she was born in Hong Kong. She remembers that at first it was difficult to adjust, but she eventually came to appreciate it. She made friends with a lad named Samir, who taught her how to skateboard and go rock climbing. She explains that she was 9 years old when he makes fun of her for having her first crush on Samir. In addition, it was far away and a long time ago. Tripp replies that his childhood was largely depressing when Wendy asks about it, and he advises them to stick on the fun stuff. Instead, she requests a humorous anecdote from medical school. Tripp inquires about Wendy once more after a few anecdotes, but she is too terrified to consider anything else. Tripp said he is furious and incensed, but he also believes they will succeed. All he can say is that he is happy that the one he loves the most is with him. She is also appreciative of that. She is also appreciative of his bravery and tough exterior on her behalf, despite his fear. He jokes that you have to fake it until you make it. Kayla informs Ava, Stefan, and Rafe in the hospital lobby that Harris is speaking and that his vital signs are normal. Rafe leaves for his room while Ava gives God praise for Harris's return to them. Stefan looks nervously through the window of Harris's room. There, after meeting someone, Rafe informs Harris he was shot on the loading dock. Ava has been there almost the entire time, Rafe reports, when Harris stares out the window at Stefan and Ava. Regarding Stefan, Harris queries. Yes, he has also been there. Harris peeps thoughtfully off. Marlena cautions them against getting ahead of themselves in Everett's hospital room. They're continuing doing data collection. She wishes to request from Seattle the medical records of Robert and Everett. With Everett's approval, Marlena departs. Everett affirms to Stephanie that he has never met Robert Stein. She is unsure about whom to trust. He wants her to think that she is loved and that he would never do her any harm. She advises them to wait and find out from the medical professionals. Does Everett have a brain tumor? He wonders. She makes the point that the CAT scan would have revealed it. He's not sure if he can be by himself at this time. She says she will support him. Everett later signs documents granting access to his medical records. Marlena asks whether someone could help them with the missing information. Everett recommends his friend, a reporter in Seattle, and his former editor. Marlena suggests that he give her a call if speaking with them sets off something. They ought to begin meetings as soon as possible as well. He asks her whether she believes he'll be able to retrieve the memories his brain erased after realizing she's a doctor. Though she can't promise it, isn't it what they're all praying for? Although Wendy and Tripp are certain that someone is looking for them, they find it hard to believe that someone would search the old brewery near the airport. Wendy says that leaving is the only option. They have a sudden surge of confidence and think they can pull this off. All they need is a plan, a law MacGyver. Ava asks Stefan what's causing his restlessness as he attempts to leave the hospital once more. While Stefan is about to tell her what Clyde forced him to do, Rafe enters Harris's room, telling them that Harris does not know who shot him. Ava puts her palm on the glass at the window of Harris's room. Their eyes meet tenderly. After discussing Everett, Kayla and Marlena decide that there isn't a clear cause for the memory loss. Kayla questions whether he's playing amnesiac. Everett receives a call in his room telling him to report straight to the police station. In order to record a message for Tripp's mother, Officer Goldman goes inside the beer tank. Wendy threatens to throw him a tablet and script if he doesn't comply. With Harris's recent awakening, do you recall when he was shot here, Rafe is one step closer to putting an end to the drug trafficking in Salem, even though he is unaware of how near the drug trade is to his own workplace. Ava is also intrigued since Tripp and Wendy's lives are in jeopardy in addition to Harris's. However, Stefan has been informed that James Reed's character Clyde would not be happy to see his empire fail. Stefan needs to take action because he now stands to lose just as much as Clyde. Jamie Martin Mann's character Tate was incensed that his parents would speak ill of him. It was as if they wanted to swap notes because they were both frightened. He sincerely hopes they don't count on him to immediately pardon them for that. Just as he doesn't intend to forgive them for forcing him to serve his sentence in a less dangerous prison for a crime that, although he may not have committed, he undoubtedly gave the police the impression that he had. They also have that one. For an unknown purpose, Xander is likewise sitting about feeling unforgiven. Sarah is doing a great job advocating for him. Everett really hopes that someone would take up his cause as well. He is adamant on discovering the real him. But will what he discovers please him? Up ahead, Paulina's situation appears terrible as her girls huddle in close proximity to her. Along with this, the drug war intensifies as a scheme to free Clyde from prison is hatched and Harris provides Rafe with critical intelligence. What is actually happening here, though? When the February 23rd episode of The Bold and the Beautiful ended, fans thought Sheila Carter would once again send Steffi to the ER, fighting for her life. After all, Sheila did say, "Steffi Forrester, tonight you die." But by the end of the Monday, February 26th episode, Steffi had taken charge, and it was Sheila who appeared to be down for the count. Unlike 2 years ago when Sheila shot Steffi and Finn point blank in the chest, Steffi got the upper hand this time and stabbed Sheila with a butcher knife right in Steffi's own living room. After the shock of her actions wore off, Steffi stood there stunned as she watched Sheila gasp for air and seemed to take her last breath. Is this really the end of a soap opera era? Is Sheila really dead? According to Kimberlyn Brown, she is saying goodbye to the character she's played on and off for more than 3 decades. Well, you know, it's a tough place for me to be in right now, I'm not going to lie about this, Brown told TV Insider. I guess if anyone were going to take Sheila down, I'm happy it's Steffi. I just wish that no one was taking Sheila down. It's my happy place where I have been so blessed to be for over 35 years. But I've had a good run at it, so I'm one of the lucky ones, there's no doubt about it. Jacqueline McInnes-Wood was also shocked by her character's actions, as she also cheered Steffi on. For Steffi, hallelujah! This is her moment. How long has it taken Steffi to take her down, and it's finally happening, so it's going to be a big shock, Wood said. For someone who used to watch the show, and to now go toe-to-toe against Sheila, that's a really cool moment. So, while it looks like the end of an era for the crazy villain who began her reign of terror on both The Young and the Restless and B&B way back in 1990, it is worth noting that Sheila has been dead before. Before she made her way to Los Angeles to torture the Forrester and Logan clans, Sheila created havoc in Genoa City when she stole Lauren Fenmore's husband and child before being presumed dead the first time in a fire. A very much alive Sheila turned up in Los Angeles and eventually married Eric while continuing her life as a psychotic and murderous menace.